what's going on, everyone? Before we get into our conversation, I want to let you know this podcast is sponsored by BetRivers.com. BetRivers.com, the best place for all your sports gambling needs. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast. You can also watch all of these episodes on the Field of 68 YouTube channel. Now, let's get into our conversation. You came in like to Cuse like as like a slasher transition, like getting steals, getting out and open anyway, and then you improved like your jump shot as like you said as you went on. That really puts your game to a whole nother level. And then we'll talk about, because when you get into the league, now you kind of like almost like you guard like the best player every single time, like when you go into the league. But was there like, you're averaging 20. Your last game, you shoot almost 50% from the field. That shit hard as hell, especially being.
I'm anal about field goal percentage, because like if I'm gonna shoot
it,
you gotta make it. Bro, I'm anal to this day. I'm anal. Like I'm anal. I can't, as a guard. I feel like as a guard, especially a dominating guard, if you're gonna take those shots, you gotta make at least 40 to 45% of those shots. So I know, to shoot 50, that's crazy. But because that's how anal I was about my field goal, like layups, jump shots, threes. Like I wanted to make sure that if I shot the ball, that I was shooting the right shot and I was making it. Because you could be a taker or a maker. Like everybody could take shots, but not everybody gonna make them. I ain't want to be a taker, because then it's like, shit, I ain't pass you the ball. Like, I ain't want to be that teammate. I wanted people to trust that I can put the ball in the basket, or that I can just make the right decision, period. Because sometimes it wasn't even about shooting the ball. I just drove to the basket. I got the kick out for you. You know what I mean? So it's like, that was my mindset, where it was like, if I'm a guard and I'm going to shoot the ball the way I shoot the ball and the type of shots that I get, I got to shoot at least 40 to 45% somewhere in there. Anytime I see I shoot 30%, till this day, I get sick. And I'm like, that's trash. Like, that's trash. That's mediocre to me. Like 30% as a guard, why? Like, what shots are you taking?
You shooting efficient shots, you keeping it simple, you get into your spots. Like, other guard, you see jacking up the first shot. No, you're playing the right way. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that makes it easier on you and your teammates. Was there ever a time though, like, because shit, I don't care if you never got hurt your whole college career, you average 20 and shoot almost 50%, 5 assists, 2 steals, that's fucking great. But to come back from 2 ACL injuries with the same knee and then play like that, I mean, were there times like where you like, damn, I don't know if I could get back to playing at that type of level? But when you did it, what was that like?
Nah, I don't think I ever felt like that when it came to my ACLs. I think more so it was like, who am I now? Like, that was more of my thought process. It was like, well, who are you? Like, what can you do? What can't you do? Like, that was more of the questions that I was asking myself, because it's like, I done been through it twice. You done made it back. So it's like, shit, what else? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what else can you possibly like get thrown at you where you have to doubt yourself? It was more so like, I took everything as a challenge. Like, I see adversity as a chance of like success. Like, I never seen adversity as like a bad thing. I like that shit. Like, I like adversity, because in that showed me like, all right, who really with you? Who really about it? Like, everybody could talk about like, oh, we doing this, we some dogs. We'll see who really dogs when it really get down to it. When adversity hit, that's when the true character shows. I could see a lot from people when certain things happen, things that are out of my control. I just know that I can control attitude, energy, and effort. Shout out to Coach Q, because that's what that is burned in my head. To this day. Like, he yelled that shit every day. He was like, I don't give a damn if we get blown out by 20. He was like, you can control your attitude, your energy, and your effort. And that shit stuck with me, because he's like, I'm like, you're right. Everything else that happens in this world or in this life is out of my control. All I can control is how I respond, how I react, and like how I move. Nobody got control over that. So all those 3 things, I just kept it with me throughout anything. When adversity hit, like even now in my career now, like with all the crazy stuff that was going on, it's like, well, what can I control? When I get on that court, I'm going to do whatever I can that my team needs me to do to win. Because at the end of the day, that's all I want to do. All I want to do, I just want to win. I need people that want to win with me. If I got that, we out. No matter how that road look, we gonna take it. Like we gotta get dirty, we gotta get dirty. Oh well, like take a shower. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's a fact. I mean, you've had, one of the greatest careers in Syracuse women's basketball history. We talked about it, third all time, the winningest player of all time, 101 wins. So it's a hard question right here to answer, probably. But out of all the moments you had in your career, good, bad, what was your greatest moment? It could be, playing off the court. It could be like a teaching moment, or a learning moment when you're going through rehab. What greatest moment for you at Cuse?
I'm not gonna lie, because I'm low key tearing up thinking about it, because we was the first. Remember when I told you, like, do you want to make history or do you want to be a part of history? And it was like when I came back that 5th year and I walked in the gym, and you know how we got all the banners on the wall.
Yeah.
When I saw that Final Four banner and it said national finalist, probably was like the dopest moment of my career, because it's like I never thought that Cuse would be there. Never thought. Like in my mind, I'm like, man, we gonna go first round. We got to the second round, but then it was like you see that banner and I'm crying, because it's like I remember all the shit I went through to get to that point. So it's like every time Syracuse women's basketball brings up that game, they got to talk about us. They have to. Like, you can't not talk about it. Like, you talk about Syracuse women's basketball and you talk about the national finalists. Like, we was the only 2 teams on TV. Everybody was watching us. They gave us a 7% chance to go to that national championship. Right there, I was like, I can hang my hat on that. Like I was so happy for the seniors that year, because it was like, you got to go out like guns blazing. Even if we lost in the national championship, come on, you really think they was gonna let us win and not give UConn their 4 in a row? Like, come on, come on, like they wasn't gonna let us be the bad guys. Like, you know what I mean? But like, honestly, that journey was a 30 for 30 type of feel. Like I tell everybody, like that journey to that national championship and seeing that banner be like put up in Mello, because the guys have them. We looked at the guys all the time. You know what I mean? We looked at Charles. we looked at the guys all the time.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, and that year was special too, because we were both in the Final Four.
Yes. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Crazy. Yeah.
That year was just nuts for Syracuse in itself, because they was doubting the guys.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? Like we see it, MC Dub, everybody, like Trevor, we all coming back. We were in South Dakota. I think they were playing Virginia. We finished our game. We done beat Tennessee. We going to the Final Four. We go back to the hotel and we're watching the guys game on TV, and we got noise complaints because we're all in the rooms like, let's fucking go. We going crazy. We came back, and you remember the whole campus was like Project X. This is when we was riding #1 party school for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. Like, what? We was going crazy. But like that was probably like all that morphed into one. Like that moment of going to the Final Four, both us and the men's, seeing that banner put up there, was like, man, nobody can ever take that away from us. Nobody can ever take that history away from us. Like, we were the first to do it. We don't want to be the last to do it, but we was the first. Like, we showed anybody who come to Cuse, like, that shit is possible. Like, don't let these other schools fool you with these national championships and everything. Like, you could do it here too. Like, Syracuse is just as good of a team as any other team out there. So I was just happy that we could put that banner up there and like show kids, like, hey, look, you come here, you can do that. We did. We ain't have no clue we was going to, but we did it. Like, we just put our mind to it. Yeah, we just put our mind to it.
That's a fact. So 2017 come around. You getting ready for the WNBA draft. End up getting drafted in the first round, 7th pick to the Atlanta Dream, or Atlanta ATL. That's one of my favorite cities.
Man.
But when you get your name called, you see your name being drafted. What's that like for you now? Because I mean, you've been through all the injuries at Cuse, all the ups and downs. I mean, going back to high school when it starts getting real. Did you feel like this moment would happen, and then you it does? I mean, what's that like?
I mean, I left school early, so I left Cuse like a month early.
Mhm.
That was like my little like ode to like, oh, I'm going pro. So I'm like, all right, y'all, I'm headed out.
I know, what you mean, yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm like, all right, y'all, I'm headed out. Like, I'm gonna see y'all when I see y'all. So I go home the whole month of April, and the draft come up. We're sitting in the living room, and you talk about name being called. My name wasn't called. Like the shit glitched. So like Lisa Borders calls my name. Like you can look it up on YouTube. Lisa Borders calls my name, and it's like it glitches. So I'm like, is it me? So I don't even know if it was me or not until my face came on the screen. And that's when everybody was like, oh, so like everybody in the house going crazy. And I think if I'm being real, I'm never, this is like exclusive. I've never told anybody this. In that moment, it was weird because my grandfather had like just passed away that December before like going into the new year. So for me, it was like I made a dream come true, but it was like, damn, the one person I wanted to share with wasn't there. So it was like, all right, I was happy, but I'm like, damn. Then I'm looking at my grandma, and my grandma's crying because, obviously like she missed her best friend.
Yeah.
But she missed her best friend, and she knew because I looked at her when they called my name and I saw her, and she was just sitting there like tearing up. So it was weird because I was happy, but I was also sad because I'm like, damn, the one guy I want to dap up and say like we did it, like is the one guy I promised, he not there. So I'm like, all right, like thug it up. I toughened up, and like everybody walking around like they hugging me and shit, and I'm getting the phone calls and everything, but like literally in that moment when they called my name, I'm like, all right, I did it, Grandpa. Like literally, that's what I said in my head. I'm like, I did it. Like I did it. Like I got in. Now I gotta stay in. But I promised him when I was younger, I'm like, I'm gonna go to league. I'm in church. I'm giving my report card to the pastor. He like, what do you want to be when you grow up? My mom would get mad every time. I'd be like, a WNBA player. Like I didn't know at the time that was manifestation. But I promise you, like every time I brought my report card to the pastor, and they would be like, all right, we're gonna acknowledge, our kids in the church and like their good grades and da. And I go up to the pulpit, and I promise you, I look at my mom's face every time, and she'll be like, oh my God. Like, I literally be like, I want to be a professional basketball player. I'm gonna be a professional basketball player every time. The whole time. I don't think there's not one time I never said I wanted to be a WNBA player. I just wanted to be a pro, because I knew like, all right, if I could do this here, I could do that there. Like I just got to put the work in. So it was like that moment was so surreal, because it was like, man, I waited since I was a little girl for this moment, and now I'm finally here. And it's like, all right, well, now I'm going to Atlanta. Shit, this got to be a joke. Like this got to, you know what I mean? Like I think that was a gift from God Himself. Like you done been through a lot. Let me send you to Atlanta. For real.
Yeah. No, you came in cooking though. I mean, your first season, I would say, was there a transition, but it didn't really seem like it because.
Oh, it was.
I'm sure it was. Your first year though, you came in. I mean, as a rookie, you scored the most points in franchise history, and you really picked up right where you left off that last year at Cuse.
Yeah, I mean, what's crazy is I was still that player my rookie year. I was still in Cuse.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So it's like shout out to Coach Coop, Michael Cooper, Showtime Coop, Carlene Thompson, Miles Cooper. Those are my coaches. And my training camp was probably the hardest training camp I've ever had in my career. Like till this day, my rookie year, bro, I'm talking about I had blisters on my feet. We're 2-a-days. For 4 days straight, I had to go to the assistant coach and beg her. I'm like, can you please tell him we can't do this for another 2 days? Like, I'm not gonna make it. Like, I'm in the ice bath, like I'm hurting. And he came to me And it was one moment in my camp where I was acting like a little punk, just a little bit. Cause I was mentally giving into the fatigue and the tiredness. So we in the huddle, and mind you, we all looking around. Mind you, I was the only one to make the camp. Like out of everybody that had came to the camp, I was the only one to make the camp. So Coop, he's known to cut first rounders. He said it to me. He was like, look, I don't give a damn if you good or not. He was like, you don't work hard. He said, I will cut you. He was like, I cut first rounders. Coop made me cry. Like I remember walking out of practice one day and I'm crying on the bench to Coach Carr. And I'm like, Coach Carr, I don't know what to do. Like I'm hyperventilating and shit. Bro, like I was going through it my rookie year. Like, but he saw something in me that I ain't seeing myself yet. And he was like, nah. He was like, nah, we gonna have to get you a little tougher. So then that's when the mental toughness started going in, because then you got to think like you a rookie, you doing your thug thizzle. You got a couple teammates that probably don't like that. Cause like, let's be real, this is the pros. This ain't college no more. Like this is paychecks. Like, so you got a rookie coming in, you got a coach who's trusting the rookie to do whatever they need to do to help win. We losing 10 in a row. Like it was just a smorgasbord of BS that whole season. But it was one of those things where it sculpted me. Like it helped me create like a baseline of like what I could do in the league. So I'm like, all right, I can come here. I could do this college stuff, but I know next year people are going to know how I play. People are going to know what I do. So I got to improve. So then like that second year come around, and then we get a new coach in Nikki Collin, who's at Baylor now. She comes in and we go to the playoffs. But that whole year, not gonna lie, like it was kind of, because I was coming off the bench. Angel had came back, and then Angel got hurt, so I got back to playing. So it's kind of, I learned that sophomore year how to adapt. Like I always was an adaptable person, but in the pros, like like the one thing you better know how to do is adapt to every situation. Yeah. Like make that situation work for you.
Your role might be different.
My role might be different the next 24 hours. Like, I don't know. I'm the point guard this day. I'm the power forward the next day. But I better play it like I played that shit my whole life.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So, like, my role for the team was like, I gave the energy. Like, I got to the basket. Like, I could shoot threes here and there. But, like, I was just doing my thing. And then you get to, like, my third year in Atlanta. And that was probably the roughest year because it was just a lot of, like internal turmoil that I was dealing with because I was going through growing pains. Like I was trying to figure out, is like, okay, is this the lifestyle that I was living? Is that the lifestyle that's going to help me stay in this league for 20 plus years? Like I'm going out partying. It's Atlanta E. Like I'm going,
I get it.
I'm going out partying every day in Atlanta. There's something to do every single day. So like I'm going into work. I've always been a workhorse. But after hours, oh yeah, I'm at the tattoo shop. I'm at the hookah lounge. I'm at the bars, the clubs, like I'm everywhere. Like
that's all right. Yeah.
I was getting it in, but it was like, you know what? It was time to put it down. So then I got hurt my second year. So that also like changed my perspective on things because that's when I had hit rock bottom. So that's when I had like that reality check of like, all right, you need to take care of your bread. Like you need to take care of your money. You going out spending all this money, spending on your friends, spending on motherfuckers who don't even like care about you for real. They just care that you could do stuff for them. Yeah. So when you got hurt, you couldn't call none of them for $1. Like you couldn't call none of them for advice. You couldn't call none of them for a heart-to-heart conversation because there was nowhere to be found. No hard feelings because that's not your job. But I had to learn that for myself. Yeah. So it was like going into that third year, I'm coming out of surgery. I'm trying to figure out how I'm supposed to do this again. And now I'm kind of like at like butting heads with the head coach because now it's not that we're not getting along, but we just don't see eye to eye. So, shit happens. Like, you know what I mean? Like you're not going to get along with every coach and, or every coach is not going to understand you, but you know what I mean? So it's like in that midst, we trying to figure it out while I'm trying to figure out like how I'm supposed to adapt to this because what I'm adapting to might not be what I want to accept. So now I'm fighting the adaptation of what my new role is on this team on the bench. Like I was on the I was on the bench. Like I was riding. It was to the point I knew when I was coming out the game, like I knew my own substitution pattern. I get in at the end of the first, play the beginning of the second. I was gone for the rest of the game. I get in like middle of the third. I was out of there about like 8 minutes with the fourth to go. Wipe my hands. I'm on the bike. Like I'm riding the bike watching the game at this point. Like I was in shape. Nobody can tell me nothing. Like I'm like, y'all can't outrun me. Like I ride this bike for 40 minutes. Like I'm on the bench. So it was like Atlanta, man. Atlanta taught me like how to deal with adversity as a pro. Like you deal with adversity in college, but like as a pro, when you got to worry about how you gonna feed yourself, how you gonna feed your family, how you gonna make bread. Like if all this stopped today, where you gonna get that bread from? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so that whole Atlanta experience was very much like a growing pain. Like that was fun, but it was fun and it was like it was hell at the same time. So I'm grateful for it though, because it honestly, like all the stuff that I went through them next 3 years, I literally would think back to like this ain't nothing compared to what I went through my first three. So I'm good over here. Like
Yeah. Everything that you go through bring you to where you're at now too. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's, now you're in LA. You played the last few seasons in LA. And we talked about it in the beginning a little bit. You kind of turned into like really like a lockdown defender. You make it all WNBA defensive teams. You up there in tops with steals. When you're overseas in Australia, you're getting I think he got the WNBL defensive player of the year.
Yeah.
So we talked about adapting and having different roles because you could score the ball. Shit, you scored almost 1,900 points in college, and then we talked about what you did your rookie season with Atlanta.
Yeah.
So was that something like the coach going to LA, the coach kind of sat down and talked to you about, or is it something you just kind of like, fuck, I know I can fuck these motherfuckers up?
Nah, it was like I always knew that I had like defensive capability, but the defense is a want. Like defense is an effort thing, you know what I mean? But for me, it was how I was going to keep my job. If we want to be honest, like my first year with LA, I got Candace Parker, Chelsea Gray, like Simone Augustus is on our roster. Like, you know what I mean? We got some heavy hitters. They not looking for me to score no damn points. Like, like if we being real, if we're really sitting down and we being raw and real, they wasn't looking for me to score no buckets. So they knew that I had defensive capability. They knew I had offensive capability. But let's be real, these teams just grab you so they don't got to play against you. Like you got to make it work for you. So now I'm like, all right, what's going to be my role on this team? Or what can I make my role? Because at this point, I wasn't really like floating, but I was like, I was there and it was one of those things where it was like, okay, where can I fit in the offense? I knew that Candace and Chelsea would majority have the offense running and everybody else kind of like, you know what I mean? And NECA. And Lord, let me not forget NECA. Like, you know what I mean? Like we got NECA, Simone, Candace, and Chelsea. Like right there, I'm like, all right, what do they need? That's when I started to realize like, okay, I'm starting to become a pro. And I'm like, all right, what does LA need?
Yeah.
I'm like, they don't really got nobody for defense. And I was blocking shots before. Like offense, people get lost in the sauce when they know about the offense with Atlanta, because I ain't playing nobody's defense in Atlanta. Like I played enough to where I wasn't looking sorry. But the way I play defense now, that was definitely a plot and plan executed, because Coach T, who was our defensive coordinator on our team, basically, she was like, when I say her energy is so infectious, it was one of those things where it was like, you see how bad somebody loves something. How can you not respect that love and like give that energy back? Like I feel disrespectful if I didn't play defense the way I do because of the way she come to her job every day the same. There's never not a day, I can't tell you the last 3 years where I've never not seen LT like fired up. Like that's her shit. She be like, fire up. Like that's her thing. So to come in there that first year in the bubble, try to make a name for myself, I'm like, why not defense? It was gonna keep me on the court too, because that was another part of the plan. It was like, how can I stay on the court? Defense. I could lock down the main players, because guess what? The main players is gonna be on the court on the other end, which means if they want me to lock them down, I gotta be on the court. So to me, I don't care about starting. I don't care about coming off the bench. I care about being in the fourth quarter. That's what I care about. Like being in the fourth quarter, that showed me you trust me. You trust me to make the right decision on offense and defense to help try and win this game with my teammates. So that was my mindset. Like, I'm in the bubble, and that's the year Candace won depoy. So me and her going at it. I'm like, nah, I'm getting depoy. She's like, nah, I'm getting depoy. But then, like that second year happens because let's get it straight. Like the depoy the categories that fall under what a depoy is, I'm like, nah. That's when I also realized, like, I'm about to change this narrative, because you mean to tell me that because you got rebounds and you got blocks and you occasionally get some steals at 6'4" and above, that you are considered a defensive player? No, 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 no. You are supposed to get them rebounds. You're supposed to get them blocks. You're supposed to get them occasional steals.
Yeah.
Like, it's the
It's more
effort.
an eye thing, like how you can see how they moving or keeping it in their front. Yeah.
Like I wanted people to look at the stats. I'm like, when I'm on that court versus when I'm not on that court. When that person's on the court versus when they not on that court. How is the team working? How is the team moving? Yeah. Like I found out that like my energy is like a part of my identity. Like when I get on that court, shit going. Like I know for a fact, like for everybody, like whether it's offense or defense, like we going, because you're gonna look crazy if you don't come with me. Like it is gonna be very evident if you are not with me, there's something wrong, because I play the game, I honor the game. I'm never gonna disrespect the game. I'm never gonna play the game selfish. Hell, I play too unselfish sometimes. Like, so it's like one of them things where it's like, all right, y'all gonna ride with me? And they started to like show that kind of like that respect of me being that defensive juggernaut for our team, like the head of the snake when it comes to defense. Yeah. So that's when I realized, I'm like, bet, like that's my role. I got my role. And I take it, because that doesn't mean, just because I got a role, that doesn't mean that everything else cut off. That doesn't mean that I'm not like an offensive scoring threat, a slasher, because I can create offense for them without the ball in my hand. I'm cutting to the basket. I'm setting hard ass screens. I'm going to, you know what I mean? I'm creating space. I'm getting, oh boys, boom, another opportunity. Like, if anything, I was cool with the whole not scoring thing, because we had people who could do it. So then you get to this last year we play, and it was like, all right, and I'm all, happy about the defensive respect, and it's like, but now y'all starting to kind of disrespect me as an offensive player. Like, you know what I mean? Like I gotta remind some of y'all, like, I'm a two-way player. I was offense first. Like, don't get it twisted, because people be like, oh, she's a great defender. And I'm like, bro, I'm a two-way player. Like, what are y'all talking about? I had to go off on media a couple of times, because I'm like, I no disrespect, but I'm like, have y'all seen my film from the first 3 years? Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, I'm that same cat, but like that's not what they need here. But don't write me off as just a defender, because now you messing with my emotions now, because it's like, wait, you know what I mean? Like, what you thought this was?
You're a hooper.
Yeah, I'm a hooper. Like, we hooping. But right now, that's not what my team need. My team don't need me to score 15, 16. Like, they don't need me to do that. They need me to get on this board, get in the offensive player ass, and get out of transition. That's easy. Like, but don't sleep on me. Like, don't act like I'm just here just to play defense for a good time. Like, nah, I want to score too.
Yeah, but look, you say it's easy, but it's not easy to bring that energy and that effort every single time, because I tell you a lot, that's like, a lot of people are lacking that. A lot of people are super talented, especially when you get to a high level. They've been floating that whole time, and then they get to that high level of play where everybody is talented. And then that's really the separator, is that energy and effort and how you bring it. You feel what I'm saying? Because it's infectious. You know what I mean? Especially when you get to that level, because it's everybody's mindset a little bit different, as far as it might be weaker or stronger. So a person energy could take another person with them, or it could lift them up. You know what I'm saying? So for people to bring that consistently, when you do that, you have great teams. You know what I'm saying? So what you doing in that role is hard to do, because every day, like you said, you wake up, you're like, fuck, I don't feel like rah-rahing these motherfuckers again.
Man, I had them moments.
Yeah, facts. That's
like you human. I said it in my exit interview, because this last season was a lot. We lose a head coach, we get a new one. We lose teammates, we get new ones. You know what I mean? Like, it was just a lot of adversity that entire year. And I said it in my exit interview, where I had moments where, like, I would wake up and I'd be like, bro, I don't want to go to work today. Like
Yeah.
I do not want to go to work today. Like I don't want to do it because now you got adversity hitting and you are seeing and feeling how other people handle it. I can't control how they handle it, but I gotta be the one to help you out though. But
Yeah.
it's like, why I gotta be that person? You know what I mean? Like, it's rhetorical of a question because it's like that's what I know that like I can do. That's something that God has like blessed me with, that talent to like be able to come in, day out, and like be able to like be a positive impact on somebody in some
Yeah.
shape or form.
Work
You
solutions
know,
out. Yeah.
like work solutions out and just figure it out. Like I'm not gonna give up on you, but I'm not gonna fight you either. Like we grown. Like I said, we all getting paychecks here. Like it ain't about the money, but when you start to, give into adversity and stuff, then it becomes about the money because it's like, why am I sitting here trying to fight for you when you don't even want to fight for yourself? Like I'm not gonna fight for somebody that don't want to fight for themselves, and I'll let you know that straight up and straight down. Like I'm not gonna. I only got maybe 1 or 2 times to try and get you out your funk. After that, that's on you, because I can't waste my. I've done it before in the past. Like I've wasted my energy on trying to get somebody else out of their shit.
Oh yeah.
Can't do that no more because
Yeah.
energy takers and energy givers. And I was like, listen, for me to be a giver, it's hard because sometimes I need that energy for me. Like I gotta go make a layup, G. I can't make it because I'm trying to figure out how to get you a shot. But you don't even want to shoot the ball because you're so stuck in your ways.
Yeah.
Like I can't help you with that. I'm sorry. Like you gotta figure it out. But I'm gonna go shoot this layup though. Like, like I'm gonna holler at you afterwards though. Still love you though.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to run it back to Syracuse real quick.
Mhm.
Because Syracuse, we know it's a unique community. Like it's the university is really the city. Like
Yeah, it's a
and like
college. It's a college town.
and how they support it. Like and now I see it. Like the women's is getting wet with Coach Felicia coming back.
Yeah.
It's grown, but it's gotten even more.
Hmm.
Since you left. What is something that you really remember about being around in the Syracuse community, not necessarily like just on the campus, but like out in the community,
Yeah.
engaging with the people? Is there something that really, a moment that sticks out in your mind?
Man, we went to a couple schools. Yeah, I went to a couple schools in Syracuse. And mind you, bro, people laugh at me all the time. I ain't know Syracuse like had a hood. Like
Yeah,
Syracuse like was the hood. You know what I mean?
get
Like
it in, yeah.
like you go down East Coven past 81 North entrance, like
Right
that
there,
is
south side.
straight hood. East Salina, like that is like straight Q's hood. And I'm like, man, going to those schools and like seeing those kids and seeing a face light up and like seeing like, okay, like I said, like I want to be able to be inspiration to other people and show you like, yo, this is possible. Like I might not be from Syracuse, but I'm from Newark. Everybody know about Newark because everybody got something to talk shit about Newark. Like, oh, Newark is this, Newark is that. And I'm like, yeah, Newark is all that, but Newark is actually pretty damn awesome. Because look, I'm here. Like, you know what I mean? So it was like going to the schools and talking to the kids, or when we would have the Q's camps, and I'll be, talking to the kids that were from the city. Like they'd be there. And I'll be talking to them and just to hear them be like, man, this is so dope. Like, this is so fun. We always see the Carry Dome. We never thought we'd be in here. And
Right.
I'm like, that statement alone, I'm like, what? Like you right up the block. What you mean you thought you never been here? Like come to a game, like tell your parents bring you to a game, type of thing. But that right there just it made like it helped me gain my sense of self, because that's when I was like, I like paying it forward, like sense of community. I got that from high school. We had to watch that movie with I can't think of his first name, but it was Haley Olsen's brother. He Joe Olsen, I think. He was in Pay It Forward, and it was like help 3 people, and I'm 3 people, help 3 people each. And so we had to write a paper on it. And ever since then, that's literally been my motto. So when I got the cue, so I'm like, man, I gotta pay it forward. Like this is something that is right in front of my face that I have control over, that I can do. So in some instances, like we would make sure that the kids come back, they come see like us play. Always give love after the game to the kids. Like all the Q's kids would come down, they'd be running down the little bleachers after the game. I throw my clothes on, go right outside the tunnel. We there for like a good 20 minutes after the game, taking pictures with the kids and everything. Like they still be sending me pictures when I was in college. And I'm like, yo, that's a minute ago. Like you still got that picture? And they all grown up now. So I'm like, man, like this is kind of like full circle moment when I think about it, because like, yo, I didn't think that that would be such a big impact, because I was just doing it because it was what I wanted to do. And people might say, oh, it was the right thing to do. Like, yeah, it was, but that was just what I wanted to do, because that's what I felt was supposed to be done. Like that's like with the platform I had at that time. That's what I was supposed to do. You're supposed to give back. Like you're supposed to give inspiration to the little ones.
Yeah, that's like when you are like walking with in your passion and your purpose, like doing what you love to do, and people can see that, it inspires them, because a lot of times they afraid to walk in their purpose. You feel what I'm saying? Like when they see somebody else doing what they love, that kind of light a fire in them, especially the little kids when they don't have all those opportunities and resources, that other people may have, as far as being able to go to the games or having somebody pay for them to go. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
in that one time that you did that might have sparked something in that kid to go ahead and make something happen. So that's the real though. Like, that's really what it's about, being able to impact others, to, be inspired, motivate, then they can kind of pass it down, and that's how it can keep going. You feel
Yep.
what I'm saying? For real. Last three questions, B.
Yeah.
I know you. I'm gonna get you up out of this. I know it's getting late over
Oh no, man, you Gucci.
there. So okay, you've been overseas. You've been to a lot of different countries. You've been one of my favorite countries, Australia. That's I think
Man.
my second. New Zealand is my first, but
Okay, I haven't been to New Zealand yet, but I heard it's something crazy.
man, come on, dope spot. So out of all the spots you've been to, what is your favorite food that you probably would eat when you're overseas?
Oh, that's easy. Turkish rice. That's easy.
Right? Yeah.
Yo.
As far as a meal though?
No, I mean, obviously, like, okay, so like Turkish chickpeas and rice.
Okay.
I'm telling you. All right, this is gonna sound crazy because I just tweeted about it, or I just put a post up about it. I got a bucket right here, right?
Oh, the KFC joint.
KFC hot wings the Turkish KFC hot wings with the Turkish chickpeas and rice. Man, head drop. Like I'm talking about food coma. But just the Turkish culture, like their food, period, like that Mediterranean, like like that man,
Yeah,
crazy.
Turkey
like
got some fire food. I ain't gonna lie.
Turkey got some bomb food, and it's like they got everything too. So it's like you get tired of Turkish food, they got everything else too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like Istanbul, Ankara. I'm talking about Chinese food was bomb. Pizza was bomb. Like they Big Chef, all these different spots, yum yum, num num, all of them. Like Turkey hands down. Probably I've had like the best. Even though Australian lamb is up there.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Australian lamb is up there, bro. I ate lamb probably 2 times a week, and I lived in like Tuggeranong, which is like South Canberra, and I lived right next to Little Istanbul. It's a Turkish restaurant. I was in there every other day, getting my lamb chops, getting my rice, my salads, like everything. They knew me by name to the point where they was giving me food. They're like, here, y'all want today? Here's a Turkish pizza. I'm like, thank you.
Yeah. All right, Turkey. All right, I respect it. Turkey, hold it down. Who's the hardest person you ever had to guard your whole career?
We talking about overseas or just in general?
Yeah, whatever.
Man, Kelsey Mitchell. Kelsey Mitchell is probably like top 3 most like toughest assignments, and it's not even because like, don't get me wrong, like she's a great freaking player, like a great player, but it's like her style of play. She's bouncy. So you get a player who's bouncy, who could stop on a dime, who got handles, who could shoot. Like I can't go under on the screen because you're gonna hit that hoe. I can't go over the screen because you're gonna put my big in jail. I play you like I could play you straight up, like 1-on-1, we good. Like you know what I mean? But it's like her change of speed, change of direction. She gets you to like bite on one little thing, and it's like, phew. So I'm like, damn, like you just can't touch the ball. Like that's one person I'd be like, you can't touch the ball, and if you do, I'm about to make you so tired that you don't want it.
Yeah.
Like I'm about to make you so tired that you don't want it. and that's her, man. Like till this day, I tell her all the time, and she hates me. Like she loves me, but she hates me. She's like, come on, Slim. She's like, why you gotta guard me? I said, why you gotta be good?
The energy.
I said, it's a compliment. I'm like, you want to be the best player on your team, you're gonna have to deal with me. Like, I'm sorry, give it to somebody else, and I won't guard you. give it to somebody else. I won't touch you. I promise you, I won't bother you.
That's it.
Yeah, Kelsey Mitchell, man.
Last one. I'm gonna get you up out of here. What's one thing that you want to get done when you're done hooping?
Like off the court?
Yeah, like so when you're done playing ball, what's one thing that you want to do? You want to dabble in, or you want to go for the next?
Oh man,
whatever it may be, something you want to accomplish.
I want to have a food truck. I want to have a food truck that eventually turns into a restaurant.
That's dope. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Like I want to have a food truck. Like I love to cook. I love to eat. Like my skinny ass can eat, man. Like so. Yeah, like I want to have a food truck. I've had that vision for a while now. Like since college, I've had that vision to where at first it was a restaurant, and then I started talking like some of my friends and like, well, start with a food truck first. And I'm like, yeah, that's not bad. Like it still allows me to be mobile, free. I could go throughout, the country selling my foods, and then boom, get word of mouth, and then go to, the restaurant route. But
what kind of food?
Man. A little bit of everything, because the way I plan on traveling, like with ball and outside of ball, I'm trying to take some from each country I go to and like make it a menu. You know what I mean? Okay. So like type of thing. So if anybody steals that, they can have it. Because what's for me is for me. You know how people be like, don't tell anybody your plans. And it's like, I get you. I understand that. But I also am a firm believer in God, and like everything that has been for me has been for me. So it's like, I could say it out loud. So if somebody want to take it, they can take it, but they don't got my vision.
You're right. In fact.
You know what I mean? It's like they could take my idea, but they're going to have to make it their own, because they're not going to know what my vision is for it. I just know I'm taking some food ideas from each city I'm in, each country I'm in, or my favorite dish, and I'm going to make it into something of my own. And I'm going to have it like, it's going to be like little Istanbul, and it was like little Australia. You know what I mean? Like it's just going to have like little things. It's going to have like go-tos. So if you feeling Aussie, go and get you some Australian lamb. You feeling a little Turkish? Go and get you a little Mediterranean dish. Oh, you feeling a little Hungarian? All right, here, eat this. This is a staple in Hungary. Like
there you go.
In Hungary, you know what I mean? So it's like that's been on my mind for a minute now. Like I'm starting to get into that age where I'm writing out my plans, like I'm writing out my ideas and everything. So it's getting kind of serious. I'm like, damn, I'm getting close to 30 now, huh? Like, all right.
That time. You got time.
It's that time.
You you manifested one thing, which is fucking hard to do. I mean, you've done a lot of others. This is just another manifestation that you got going on, and you're gonna make it happen. So that's dope, B. Like for real, that's dope, because it's always cool to find out, like, because basketball is just so part of us. It's just our idea. So it's cool to figure out like, what else do you want to do? Like I like same shit. I love cooking, in the kitchen. So it's
therapeutic. Like it's therapeutic, because I just feel like as us being an athlete, we're always going to want to do something that has us in a competitive state. Yeah. Like even if we're not like playing ball anymore, that's why I only watch the Cooking Network, because you giving me food and like, you know what I'm saying? Like food and competition. Yeah. Like that's the best. Like I'm watching people try and make a meal in 30 minutes. You mean to tell me I'm not in my kitchen trying to do that myself? Like I'll be putting a timer on, like, all right, how fast can I be Rachel Ray? Like, can I get a 30-minute meal in? Like, so like that, like Australia kind of like opened my love back up for cooking. Like I didn't really have a chance to do it so much in the season, but when I got to Australia, I had gained like 5-6 kilos in like 6 weeks. Like I was getting a kilo a week, but that was because I was just eating, because I was just cooking.